When I first started my entrepreneurial journey, I wish someone told me these traits to help me overcome my mindset that I had initially. So, first of all, borderline delusion. Now, some of you guys may have heard me say this before, whether you're inside Client Capital or you've been watching my videos, but this is so important. If you are starting a new product or service-based business, you need to make sure that you are borderline deluded in everything that you do. So let's break this down. First of all, let's say you run an agency and you believe in your product and service, right? You fully believe. Let's just say service for now, service-based agencies. What that's going to allow you to be able to do is sell this much more confidently. Now, one thing that most people forget when they're first starting a business is that the person on the other side of the call, the prospect, is going to believe in you more than your product or service. Now, the reason why that's so important to understand is because if you are the one that is the face of your business, you need to be in belief of your product and your service. So we've got belief here, and that is going to essentially give you an energy transfer to your prospect. Once that prospect sees that you fully believe in your vision, in your company goals, in your product, in everything that you can do, and your ability to be able to help them change their business, they're going to feel the same way. They're going to feel more inclined to give you their money because you're going to come in with this borderline delusion that your service is actually going to work. Now, let's look at another point in terms of borderline delusion. A lot of people feel restricted when they first start a business because they think business isn't for them because they might be quite introverted. I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people don't realize. I think people that are introverted are actually better at sales when they come out of their shell. But it's about coming out of your shell. So if you're borderline deluded, what you can do with all this self-belief is just have a normal conversation and not actually be so salesy. And this is going to be based on your expertise, passion, and delusion. But how do we come out of this box? So, you're trapped in a box. You've just started your agency. You're not quite sure why you're not feeling so deluded about your product or your service. Then you need to gain some confidence. So how do we gain some confidence? The first thing you should do if you are an introverted person and you're running an agency, you should pick up the phone. Now, when I say pick up the phone, this doesn't necessarily mean you need to do cold calling to sell your services. What you can do is market research. And the reason why I'm telling you to do this is because one, that's going to build up confidence, but two, that's going to allow you to really understand the business's pain points. And once you have a solution to those pain points as part of your service, all of a sudden you're going to start to believe in yourself and your ability to be able to deliver for their business. So this model here, especially for introverted people, works really well because you're going to gain some skills here in terms of talking to people. You're also going to understand the market, which is going to make you a subject matter expert. And you're also going to understand the pain points so that you can come up with a solution-orientated plan so that when you're pitching this, you are deluded based on your product or service. So that's the number one thing that I wish I really kind of understood when I was first starting out. Now, there is another point as well here. This is revenue targets. So I'm just going to make a little box here because I've run out of space. Revenue targets. A lot of you guys shoot so low when it comes to your agencies or your businesses, okay? For example, if I speak to a brand new agency owner that has done £0 in their career, they'll come to me and say, Dan, I want to get my first client and I'm aiming for £500 in my first month. Well, the problem with setting targets that are extremely low, Your issue is that you're aiming for £500 and the likelihood is, because you haven't got the experience, you're not going to hit it. You're not really going to implement the right steps to get you to that goal. However, if you put a revenue target together of, let's say, 3,000 in your first month, what you can then do, because that's a sizable amount of revenue, you can then break that down into mini steps. So how much revenue do you need to make every single week? What activity do I need to do? That is also going to allow you to feel more deluded in terms of the way that you price your service, in terms of the way that you have targets. This is going to give you more confidence. Now, there is a really good saying on revenue targets and in business in general, okay? If you think you are not worth the £3,000 that you're targeting, you will not achieve that. So this is going to help you level up your mindset. Now, a lot of people restrict themselves specifically because of their mindset. They think, because I don't have the experience, I'm not going to be able to achieve those big numbers. Well, let me tell you, even throughout my career and my personal journey, I never ever thought I would get a 50 grand payment in my agency, which I have achieved, okay? I've also achieved 5-figure retainers. When I first started out, if someone told me that I was going to make 50 grand in 1 month or 70 grand in 1 month, I would have never have believed them. But now my revenue targets increase every single month. And to be honest, they are completely deluded, but it allows me to break it down and have actionable tasks that allow me to get to those targets. So that's the first point in terms of borderline delusion. We're now going to move on to another topic. So the next thing I want to talk about is overcomplicating simple things in business. Business is actually very, very simple. So if we look at business in general, okay, we have a problem and a solution. Now, I know I might sit here repeating myself, but I want you guys to really understand this. A lot of agency owners that come into this space when they're brand new, they jump around the problem and they jump around the solution. Now, what that's doing is overcomplicating very simple tasks, especially when you're trying to go and talk to your prospects. They're not even going to understand their own problem or their own fucking solution because all you're doing is jumping around everything. So let's break it down. First of all, we need to identify the problems. We want to stop offering things like false guarantees. I can book you 15 meetings per month. Businesses, believe it or not, are actually really fed up of this approach. People doing false promises, okay? We want to stop offering false guarantees. And we want to start having consultative approaches. Now, a consultative approach allows you to actually leverage a very simple problem. Very simple problem and provide a very simple solution. So I'm going to break it down for you guys even further so you can really understand this. If, let's say, you are an agency that offers lead generation, okay? Because most of you guys are. And let's say it's local businesses. If your offer is based on just providing leads, that's not enough, because we need to actually understand where the business is struggling. So they might have issues when it comes to nurturing those leads. So our problem identification could actually be making a main focus on this. How can we capture the leads better? Because if you're a business that is receiving 150 leads a month, but those leads aren't converting, then unfortunately they're just names on a CRM that is, unusable for any business owner. So actually what we're doing here is we're taking a simple problem and we're taking a simple solution. The simple problem is, instead of saying that we're just trying to identify them and providing them leads, we're actually understanding what is wrong with their business, where are they going wrong, is it the funnel, is it the nurturing process, is it the way their sales process is handled internally, Is it their internal communication? There are so many things that we need to consider when it comes to this process, right? So what we do is we take this simple problem, which is, let's say, for example, nurturing, and we provide a simple solution like a nurturing sequence, and actually breaking that down for them instead of breaking down, how we actually get leads. Because to be honest, if they're hiring you as an agency owner, they want you to just take the job from them. That's the whole point of it. They don't want to see everything like how you hire a copywriter, for example. What they actually want to see is where their problem lies in the business and how you have the solution to their problem. So, just to break this down, one thing that I really wish I knew at the start was stop overcomplicating problems. Stop trying to find problems in a business that isn't yours. All you need to do is identify the initial problems that they discussed, go deeper into the pain points, psychologically drive some questions to help you do that. And inside Client Capital, we can help you do that in the discovery script. And that is going to allow you to be able to pitch a viable solution. But again, your solution does not mean you have to sit there and explain how you do the creative, how you do the copy, how you do the nurturing, how you can set up a website for them. We just need to actually pitch the viable solution based on their pain point. Now, if we do that, we are doing a matching process, not necessarily just a closing process. We're matching a problem with a solution. Cool. Now, the last thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about today is risk tolerance. As an entrepreneur, we need to be able to take risks. However, you probably hear the term calculated risks. Now, the problem with entrepreneurship is that you don't know when is a calculated risk. But what I want to encourage you guys that are first starting out is look at your current situations. So let's break down perhaps someone that is watching this video right now on what your situation is. So you might just started your agency. You might have 0 clients. You might have a roof over your head, hopefully, okay? Now, what do I mean by that? You're living with someone, whether that's parents or in your own place, you can pay your rent, okay? Which is great. You'll have food in your belly. And what I mean by that is you're able to eat. We are lucky enough that even if we are down bad in life, 9 times out of 10, the people that are watching this video that are connected to the internet will have food in their belly and they'll have a roof over their head. So the reason why I'm talking about your current situation right now is because what I need you guys to understand is this. If you want to get to the next level, you want to inspire yourself to get to the point where you're earning, 50K a month, okay? What we need to understand is how we can shift our mindset to take more risks. Now, risks does not always mean reward, okay? However, what we're going to do from taking more risks is actually learn along the way, because you are going to fail. I'm so sorry to tell you that, whoever's watching this video, you will fail multiple times, okay? And that's okay. I have failed businesses, by the way. I've also launched a separate division to my recruitment company before that was already a booming company and then failed that specific division, right? So you will fail regardless of how experienced you are in your entrepreneurship journey, okay? So the reason why I mapped out your situation and why I'm giving you this graph here today is because realistically, if you've got a roof over your head, you've got food in your belly and you've got 0 clients and you have decided to take the step into entrepreneurship, there is no reason why you shouldn't take any risks. So let's look at some of the risks you can take. You can either invest in yourself. Now, obviously, this is going to be a risk to your capital, okay? However, what's the worst that can happen? You still got food in your belly, you still have a roof over your head, okay? You could also invest in your agency. Now, realistically, guys, if you are starting an agency and you've only got £50 or $50 in the bank, go and get a job. There is no harm in getting a job so that you can invest in your agency, because eventually you're going to want to have a working inbound system as well. So you want to invest in yourself, invest in your agency, and what do I mean by that? I mean people, I mean systems, I mean processes. Anything that is going to drive your business forward in a calculated enough way. But like I said, risks and calculated risks are very hard to determine. Now, obviously, you can incorporate money and what the outcome will be. However, realistically, in entrepreneurship, especially when you're at this corner and you are just at 0 clients and you have a roof over your head and food in your belly, you're not going to be able to calculate many risks, okay? But the one thing that you need to calculate is, if I invest in myself right now, or if I invest in my agency or my knowledge or people or systems or processes, am I still going to have food in my belly? Am I still going to have a roof over my head? Now, the good thing with failing, guys, is you are going to learn so much. And by learning, you pick up the pieces and you grow. Now, unfortunately, the best way to actually learn in business is to fail. You are one day going to perhaps run an inbound system and spend 10K on ads and only get 2K back. Or you might invest in yourself and you might find the program that you entered in because it wasn't Client Capital wasn't the right one for you. I understand it. Client Capital is the right one for you if you are looking for the right program. But what I will say is this: you are not going to make this journey to 50K without taking risks. Now, this could also mean leaving your current job so that you have a little bit more time to invest into your agency. Could mean reducing your hours at work. It could mean fucking up your sleep pattern a little bit by targeting the US. Let's say you finish work at 5 p.m. UK time and you start to target the US. You're taking a risk because you're investing so much more of your time into your agency. But what I will say is this: every risk that you take, you are starting to climb this ladder, and you will go back and you will go forward so many times. However, what you will realize is that if you look at every single thing that you have done successfully in your life, whether that is get a job, you've probably gone through multiple interview stages and failed some interviews, but then you got that job. Or if it's securing a chick, right? You might have had to prospect to a few other chicks to get that chick. It's the same with business. There is no written rule in terms of how to become successful, but there are ways to fast track it by investing in yourself or your agency and taking the risks so that you don't fail. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk so much about risk tolerance is because so many of you guys are so scared to take a risk when you're in a comfortable situation. Entrepreneurship, regardless of how successful you are, is not comfortable. Even right now, I always have the mindset that my business could just go bang. And that allows me to consistently invest in myself and my knowledge and my agency and my people and my processes and my systems all the time. I've just signed on to a 10K a month mentorship, which is a large amount of money for most people. And yes, I do have the capital to be able to do it, but that's because I want to be able to take myself to the next level. So for you guys, you need to understand this. You have to take the risks to get to where you want to be, but it doesn't always mean risk equals reward straight away. Now, if you are choosing the journey of entrepreneurship, you will realize this path is so different. This isn't the same path as most people take in life. So you are going to get people judging you when you invest in yourself or your agency, but you have to look past that. You have to have that growth mindset, not that fixed mindset. Be adaptable to change and take yourself to the next level. So I hope those 3 little tips will help you with your journey. If you are interested in Client Capital, make sure you click the link below. Also, subscribe for more content because we're only just getting started and we're about to blow this YouTube game up.